Welcome back to Girl Talk. Barry Edwards joins me now. He is the owner of Island Tire and Automotive Services, 2 locations here on Hilton Head. And today we're coming to you from the South End location where you've got some awesome cars.
We do. This is kind of unusual to have this many of them in the shop all at once, but thought it might be a good example to be able to show some of the things that we do that a lot of people don't realize. We've got 3 cars in the shop. One's a 1970 Buick. It actually belongs to Mike. We've got an original 1968 Pontiac Le Mans.
68, okay.
Yeah, this was a 1968. It's all original, numbers matching car that a great customer just sent in for a little TLC. And then we've also got a 1962 Thunderbird.
T-Bird.
And this Thunderbird was owned by a fantastic customer of ours. He passed away. He had a whole entire collection. And another customer has purchased this vehicle, and so we're still continuing to take care of it. But a lot of people don't realize that people get into this business a lot of time because they're really into cars. For a lot of people, cars are just basic transportation. But there are not many places left where mechanics still know how to work on carburetors, older drivetrains, systems, understand these because this technology, I mean, they're great to look at, but it's not being used.
Right.
Or it's changed so radically. And we've talked about a lot of the different systems that we work on a regular basis. But all of these cars, it takes kind of a different level of attention to detail what you're doing.
Expertise. Yeah.
And you can't just go and buy a lot of these parts at your regular supplier. Some things you can.
Right.
A lot of things you've got to do your homework and really research, particularly for collectors' cars.
And it's amazing how many car enthusiasts there are on Hilton Head and in Bluffton. There are some of these, they call them like man caves or something that are just decked out garages, and it's just incredible. Of course, we know that the Concours is one of the island's biggest events, I think just second behind the RBC Heritage, but it is growing and growing, and there's just so many that live right here that have these vehicles that need the expertise of the folks at Island Tire and Automotive.
You know, if people want to build a street rod or a hot rod, we can do that kind of work, but that's not really our specialty. But on cars like this, where it's about making sure that it's absolutely correct, we don't do restoration, but we do a lot of maintenance and repair because we've got guys that have got the level of experience. I mean, it's a shame we didn't have Vince's car. We'll have to feature it one time. It is a 67 Camaro that he literally rebuilt over quite a long period, but it's basically perfect.
He does some racing too, doesn't he?
He does.
It's just the stories with the guys here are really cool.
And he's in the process of building a Camaro race car in the Chump Car series. Mike has built race cars. The Buick in the back is one that Mike brought with him down from Maryland when he moved down. He is the second owner of that car, and he has done an incredible amount of work, but it's still a numbers matching correct car, just like both of these. This one has actually been in the Concours several times.
That's awesome.
It takes a little different mindset. You've got to be very patient and have some specialty tools that frankly most mechanics are not even trained on how to use.
Right, and for the guys that maybe like to tinker themselves on their own vehicles, but they might need a little consulting or a little help getting the parts and stuff, can they do that too?
They can. In some cases, we normally do not install customer supplied parts. When it comes to vehicles like these, oftentimes the customer may have found some unusual or very specific part sources. So we look at those like a project and as a collaboration.
Right.
The challenging thing is there are a lot of difficulties in getting the parts and then some of the specialty equipment that's required to work on one. Anyone can get a timing light. Knowing how to use one is a different story.
Well, these are amazing. It's just so cool to see some of the classic vehicles, and it's great for those that are those car enthusiasts to know that there's the expertise here to help them keep them running at their
It's a
premium.
lot of fun. It's a lot of fun when we get to see these. You know, we're always
makes it a little spice in the day. You know,
well,
when
it's
you
always
see something
tempting
like
to take one of these and go, wow, you know, I'd really like to take that for a drive. And we're like, no, that's one we really don't want to test drive at all unless the customer is here or unless it's absolutely necessary. Because literally, some of these cars are almost irreplaceable.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now speaking of some maintenance issues, we're now in April and the weather is finally getting warmer, so we're getting our AC on, or maybe not. So
a lot of people are turning the switch, and it's not. It's always a good time, particularly before summer, because when June hits,
you don't want to be without it.
there'll be a lot of folks who've put off getting the AC until it's pretty much intolerable, and then, you know, we're having to take AC work by appointment because we're so backed up.
So if there's any indication that it's just not running at its best, now's the time to get it in and have a look at it.
Make sure it's fully charged, make sure everything's working right, it's clean, and functioning properly, because once the hot weather hits, it will let you know very quickly.
Yes, for sure.
The other thing that happens, if you can service or you can identify if there's a leak in the system, you can address that before you lose all the coolant or you damage or destroy a compressor. If you run those without any fluid, just like other systems, it will cause much greater damage and become a very difficult expense.
Right. That sounds great. Barry, thank you as always. And thank you for tuning into this episode of Girl Talk. I'm Debbie Court. See you next time.